No way. Hey, Will.
Yo, what's
Get
up?
over here. Look at this.
What am I looking at?
I'm in Facebook right now. Look at these numbers.
Dude, what did you do?
Dude, look at these numbers now in Instagram.
What? How?
Yeah. They've gone up in just a couple of weeks.
How?
By listening to Enid Jones. That's right. So if you are wanting to start a business in 2020 and you wanted to grow on social media, then you know where you need to start? You need to contact Enid Jones, the Social Mermaid. She's a photographer and social media strategist. She will help give you a strategy to move forward in 2020 with a practical, realistic approach or growth. For testimonials, reviews, and more, you need to go find her on Facebook or Instagram. We listened to her, and in just a couple of weeks, man, our numbers are up. So if you go to Instagram, you can find her by pix.by.enid. That's pix.by.enid. And if you go on Facebook, just search Enid Jones Photography. She's not that hard to find. Go and search her today.
Hey, this is Rob T.
Hey, this Big Will.
The week is almost through,
And there's a lot we've thought through.
and we just want to share it with you. Some of it may be motivational,
Some inspirational.
but it will always be sensational. So sit back
And relax.
and check out what's on my mind.
Hey, this is Amaya.
Hey, this is Vanessa.
And you're listening to
What's on My Mind?
Whoa. Hold up. What are you doing taking my lines? What is up with that? Will, this is becoming a hostile takeover.
I think it literally has come a hostile takeover now.
I thought those were just promo pictures. I guess not. We really are tied up right now, everybody.
No, they're not.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, yes, this is... let me do my part now. This is Rob T.
It's Big Will.
And you're listening to
What's on My Mind?
And yes, we do have Amaya and Vanessa. Hey, we said they were going to take the driver's seat, right? So that's what they're going to do. Guys, did y'all have fun last week?
Yes.
It was
did.
awesome, right? And it was really cool. We've had such an awesome response to your show from last week. For those of y'all that haven't listened to it yet, why? I mean, it was quite the show. We had a great talk. We had Amaya and Vanessa, and their friend Tiffany was here, and we were talking about all kinds of different topics that young teenagers have to deal with in life, not just school, but just in life in general. And it was a great introduction to the rest of this series that we got going on right now that, of course, Amaya and Vanessa are kind of taking the lead on. But before we get into today's topic, so you got a little hate, huh? Let's
we
talk.
didn't get hate. I kind of thought there would be.
There would be some
Yeah,
hate.
for
Okay.
sure.
And you know what? That's one of those things that
It's going to happen.
it's going to happen. You're always going to run that possibility because you're on this platform. It's on the internet. You know how it is on the internet. You know, everybody's got their own little platform with their little soapbox, and they hide behind a keyboard, so they may say a little something or whatever. But here's the thing. Last week's show, you didn't say any names. You didn't do anything when you talked about what it was. You're good. And so, honestly, all I got to say to any haters that are out there right now listening that are ready to drop your hate, shut up. Anyway.
Well, come talk to us.
You can direct your hate to me. How's that? Because I'm just going to look at you and smile. You know, because trust me, I know I've got a lot of haters. And there's a lot of people that right now don't like me either for my beliefs, for the things that I stand for. And that's just how it is sometimes, you know. Yeah. We were talking about that earlier, you know, because I support Trump. I'm getting an evil look right now. I can feel it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. I want to just briefly talk about it. I just want to remind everybody just to make sure you're staying safe out there. Keep your family safe. A lot of negative energy. I don't know if you felt it at all this week, Will, but just all over social media, all over the news. You know, of course, the topic of the day the past few months has been the whole COVID-19 thing. You got people that are strongly, against wearing masks. You got people that are just on the mask, bandwagon. And this, all I got to say is this, I will say this personally. I'm not one of those that like to have my freedoms imposed on, but I will wear a mask out of respect.
Yeah.
I have to wear masks for my job.
Same here.
When I have to talk to customers. So, yeah, it's not a big deal in the sense that you're doing it for things like that. Just be safe. Keep your family safe. Keep your loved ones safe. That's all I want to say about that.
Very true.
So anyway, week 2, and we are going to talk now today, and we do have your friend is with us, and this is Consuela. I mean,
Your name is not Consuela?
no, her name's not Consuela. No, this is Elizabeth.
Hola.
Elizabeth is joining us today. How are you, Elizabeth?
I'm good. How
Awesome.
about you?
Thank you for being with us, and we're doing great. Are you nervous?
Yes.
You look like you're nervous. Don't worry about it. You got nothing to be nervous about. So, ladies, let's jump into this topic. We're going to talk about pressure and the pressure that you guys face in life. I saw that y'all posted up asking people for questions. Did anybody give you guys any questions?
We have a couple questions that we kind of just wrote down. They're kind of
Okay.
scattered, but
No.
we have them.
Go for it.
We thought that asking questions from everyone that's listening would be better than kind of coming up with our own, just because I know that a lot of people who listen want us to bring up topics to give our advice, to share our thoughts and opinions on
Right,
it. So
right. Wow, you came prepared. That's crazy. You know I read nothing now.
I gotta prepare. I gotta see
it's all
everything
good.
visual.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Go for it.
Okay. The first question we're gonna lead off with is how to start a deep conversation with your parent/guardian, anybody that
Just taking care of
relative
you.
advice. Yeah, like how do you get advice from an adult? Somebody.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a real good one. That's a real good one. Have you dealt with that before?
Not really. I'm very open with my mother, so
But not everybody's like that.
Yeah.
Of course. So all right. So let me hit you with a scenario then. All right. Let's just dive right into it. Okay.
okay.
Now, Mom, before you give me a look, this is just a scenario. Let's just say, God forbid, but let's just say you're pregnant. How do you?
Who's the father? And why did you not tell me?
How would you in that situation approach that? Now, keep in mind we got 2 parents you got to worry about, not just mom, right?
Yes, correct.
How would you handle that?
I think I would probably sit her down and be like, "Hey, Mom, don't overreact. Here's some water. Just let me
like
talk
alcohol.
and don't be mad."
I like that. Here's some water. Maybe get her a beer.
Yeah. Something a little stronger. Take this before we talk.
Hey, Mom, you look thirsty. Let me give you this shot real quick.
Nothing you've never had before.
I would just try to have a deep, serious conversation with her and trying to say that, like, yes, I made a mistake by not, I guess, having unprotected sex or stuff like that. So I would probably say, "Hey, Mom, this happened and I don't know what to do, so..."
Right.
And our parents
I
have
need
been
your
through it.
advice.
Like, well, maybe they haven't been through, like, surprise, I'm pregnant. But our parents have been pregnant before, our moms. They know the situation. And
How many
I think...
moms you got?
What other moms
okay.
out there? Yes. She's been pregnant a couple times, but that's okay.
The look.
You're seriously ripping off that Band-Aid.
No, I just think that... I lost train of thought. No, I just think that it's... As a mom, I would say that I think it's better to hear it coming from your kid and not from someone else. Like, I'd
That's a good
rather
point.
have
That's a good
my
point.
kid be an adult. Like, if we're going to get through this, like, we're going to get through it together. The first thing to do is to sit in front of me, have a conversation, and we'll figure it out together.
I think that's a really good point, and I would hope that parents out there are mature enough. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm an adult. I don't have any kids, but if I could put myself in that situation just for this illustration, that's the one thing I probably wouldn't want to hear. Like, that's the fear, right?
Yeah.
But if I heard it, you're right. I think as a parent, I would be glad that my daughter came to me to tell me that. Here's the challenge, though, that I would point out too, and adults that are listening. I think you should probably consider this. Now, granted, this is coming from somebody that doesn't have kids, but this is just something just came to mind. And you back me up. I know you're a parent, but I would think that at that point in time when that conversation came up, I would have to think, what's my daughter feeling at this moment? She's probably scared to death, right? She had all these plans. Maybe she wanted to go to college. Maybe she wanted to, and now she's probably thinking she can't anymore. Or how hard is it going to be now? Am I going to keep the baby? Am I going to put it up for adoption? Or you know, abortion. Let's be honest. That's a thing that's out there, no matter what your beliefs are. Those are different things that will come up in this kind of a situation. So these are things that I would hope maybe parents would stop and think, this is what my daughter is thinking at the time. So maybe not jump off the handle, because we old school, man. Our parents, I mean, you heard my sister when she was here. She was in her 20s when she told my parents that she was pregnant. Well, when I forced her to tell my parents she was pregnant. My mom still got mad. You know what I'm saying? And she's an adult. My mom got mad. My dad, not so much. But my mom was like, the look in her eyes, boy, you know, but I like I said last week, I think this generation of parent may be a little different. You know, I would hope so anyway. But yeah, that's wow, that's a big topic. What would be another challenging topic? Y'all give me something. Like, what's the most challenging thing that you've had to tell your parents? Has that happened yet for you?
No.
No? Okay.
I feel like we haven't gone through many experiences
how about you?
too.
No, I haven't really had a situation like that so far.
How about friends? You know any friends that have had to deal with stuff like that?
Yes.
Give me an example. We don't have to say names, of course, but...
Well, one of my friends had sex, and she thought she might be pregnant.
Okay.
And she had to tell her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's mom actually gave her Plan B. So that was a really hard topic for her to have.
Gotcha. What's Plan B?
Isn't it a pill?
It's the morning after
Yeah,
pill.
the morning
you could
after
say.
pill.
I mean, I knew what it was, but I just wanted...
Yeah, it's the morning
Everybody
after
else out
pill
there
that
know.
Yeah.
makes, like, not having a baby
Right.
come
Right.
true, I guess.
Right. Now, did your friend tell their parents?
No, because her mom is very strict
Okay.
with her.
Okay.
And she doesn't have a good relationship with her mom.
Gotcha.
So she didn't feel comfortable telling her mom.
Gotcha. See, now your theory, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's a big issue with a lot of young people. I mean, honestly, that was a big issue back when I was a young person. There was a lot of things I didn't tell my parents because we didn't have that kind of relationship. There was that fear of, you know, I'm going to be disowned, or I'm going to get kicked out of the house, or whatever the case may be, you know. And I see in some instances, for example, your friend, that's still kind of there, right? So, how about bad grades? Is that something that you think would be challenging to talk to parents about?
I don't think it's challenging because, you know, well, like we mentioned a little bit last week, we kind of said that our parents, as long as we tell them things, keep them updated with things, then they're okay about it. You know, we just have to be the bigger person and go up to them. They'd rather us tell them than them find out differently.
Right.
So I don't think bad grades is such a big deal. Like, we
For
worked,
our family, at least.
for our family.
Right.
Like, we work hard to get what we get, and if that's what we get, then, you know, work better next time.
Right. Okay, that's fair enough. So, do you have some other questions that you wanted to bring up before we get into the whole pressure discussion?
Well, I want to say, like, talking about how the difficulties of asking and talking to parents, like, we come from a very common, I guess, like, we have divorced parents. So
Okay.
I think sometimes it's challenging to go to one parent then go to the other. We don't have to deal with talking to, we call sperm donor. We don't have to deal with that. We don't have to deal with that problem, you know, but I know that Elizabeth here does also go, she struggles with the divorced family, and
So
I
basically
think,
what you're saying, so just so we're clear,
Yeah.
You have your mom
Yes.
and then your stepdad,
Yes.
but your biological father is not in the picture.
Yes,
So
correct.
you don't so you never met him or anything?
No,
no, we have.
Oh, okay.
It's just we cut him out of our life because he wasn't really there.
He's not a healthy person to have in our life, and, you know, after multiple times of
Disappointment.
trying and disappointment, for sure, it was something that we came to an agreement on, that for our healthy, like, for us to be healthy and for us to not be disappointed over and over again, I think that it's better that he stays out of our life, and so far, like, it's for the good.
Yeah.
Like, there's no bad about doing that.
I feel you on that one. I had that issue too. I grew up, my father and my mom divorced when I was about 4 years old. And then my dad was pretty much out of my life. Kind of came back a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Now for me it was a little different because I heard stories about my dad. I was never really kind of told the truth, and so
Yeah.
the times that I did see him, he scared me because of what I was told.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand totally what you mean about the whole disappointment thing, because as I grew up and I got to know him, there was a lot of disappointment involved.
Yeah, you realize like it's a good thing that he was never really there, because
right.
you know that ruins you, especially as a kid, like, and growing up and like seeing it over and over again, like that hurts.
True, and that's why I still have daddy issues. Yeah, but the cool thing is now as an adult, my relationship with my biological father is very minimal. Mm-hmm. And so like it's not like he's not in my life, he is, but very, very minimal. I don't seek him out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I learned in seeking him out, I'd always get disappointed,
Yeah.
right? So I don't seek him out. If he happens to text me or if he happens to call me, I don't not say hi. Of course I do. How you doing, Dad? Good to see you. I wish him Happy Father's Day. I wish him Merry Christmas, all that stuff. But that's pretty much it.
I feel like we're very opposite. We're like 100% closed off. We consider our stepdad our real dad.
No, I got you. But there's also a difference in age.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
That might change for y'all as y'all get older. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you say that now, but when I was younger, I said the same thing. It's like, no, he wasn't there in my life. I don't need to get to know him. But as I got older, I started asking myself questions. Why, you know, I have this whole other family. I want to get to know them, and so there's a lot of things that came into play. But I get exactly where you're coming from. I don't want to go off on a whole other topic. So you also have divorced parents?
Yes, my parents got divorced when I was 10, and I live with just my mom and my brother right now.
Ah, okay.
And my dad's in and out of my life because he sometimes chooses drugs over being in my life.
Right.
So he comes in when he's sober because
Right.
my mom doesn't like when we see him not sober.
Of course.
Like the other weekend, he was actually in town, but didn't make time for me. Like he chose to go to the lake, so that really hurt me. So I get the disappointment, like they say.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, because that was my dad too. My dad was into drugs and stuff too. They're sick.
Yeah, I know they're sick.
They have a problem. You know. Hopefully one day that'll change for your.
I'm always his biggest rooter. Like even when he messes up, I'm still there for him because he's still my dad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a very good way to put it. So, is that like? Let me ask you this: just amongst your, not just your friends, but people you know in school and stuff like that. Do you see that a lot in the demographic of you guys? That there's a lot of people with single parents.
A lot of my friends don't have like a dad.
Like a father figure. I've never really ran into anybody that doesn't have a mother figure.
Yeah.
It's mostly the father.
Yeah.
My brother's friends, all of their mothers have passed away.
Oh my God.
Wow. So it's all the dads and my mom. So my mom's like their mother figure.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that's crazy. So there's a common thread here. There's the dad's not in the picture, and that's pretty sad. I'm like you. I considered my stepdad my dad.
Yeah.
Like even to this day, he's not my stepdad. He's my dad.
And was that a struggle to like let him into your life, to accept him to become a father figure, a dad?
No, the struggle was because he was a lot different when I was growing up.
Yeah.
He was very verbally and emotionally abusive growing up. So I saw him as my dad, but as that very authoritative, strict dad, if that makes sense. It wasn't until I was more of an adult that I looked at him a lot different. Our relationship now is great. You know, we have a really good relationship. I will give him credit on this though. He may not have been the perfect dad, right? He may have messed up a lot, but never once did he ever introduce me as his stepson. Never. I was always his son. So for that, I don't even know if I ever told him that, but that was something that I always noticed. Like my siblings, they were never my half brothers or my half sister. They were always my brothers and my sister.
Yeah, that's exactly how we see it. We have two half brothers, I guess you can say, but they'll never be considered anything less than family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my situation is a little interesting because I have the brothers and sister I grew up with my mom and my dad, my stepdad. But then my dad, my biological father, he has 3 children that are also my half siblings. All of them are younger than me. I'm the oldest on both. But if you ask my sister, I don't know if you heard that podcast, but if you ask my sister that I grew up with, she'll tell you she's the only sister. And I'm like, no, I got another sister. No, I'm the only one. So anyway, but yeah, you're right. And then that there was a little bit of a struggle, but yeah, that's my pops, man. I love him to death. So So since we're on the subject of parents, what kind of pressures do you guys deal with as far as parents go? We were talking a little bit about it last week. I think your pressure is more the pressure you put on yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Well, just because like you said, you wanna please your parents, like no matter what. Like
Right.
you're always gonna do things where you want to make sure that you make them happy. Like
Yeah.
that's just how I am. Like
Right.
I never want to disappoint them.
Right.
So I just always want to make them proud.
Yeah. So, but that pressure comes more from you though, not so much from your mom,
yeah,
right?
just because I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, how about you?
Not really. I don't know.
Do you put pressure on yourself?
For some things, yeah, you do.
Yeah, I guess for some things. I don't know. I've always feel like I was kind of since my sister is my twin sister, we're the same age. I've always felt like I was kind of in her shadow.
Really?
So I always felt like I had to get better grades so like my mom could be like, "Oh, you did it." Even though like she would, but I wouldn't see it like that.
Uh-huh.
Just because I wouldn't say it's expected of me to get good grades.
Yes.
I see.
Like, yeah.
I
Not in
see.
a mean way. Like, it's
No,
like
no, I
no
get
hate
you.
for that.
I
Yeah,
get you.
yeah.
Because
But
you're a perfectionist and you want everything to go.
my
the way
parents
you
just expected it of me.
Right.
For like Vanessa, well, she has a disability. Okay. Throwing it out there.
Oh, okay.
So it
What's your
comes a little bit
want. I'm
harder.
dyslexic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So learning is a challenge for you.
Yes.
Yeah, you and I have a lot of common. You have dyslexia. I just have stupidity.
On occasion, Vanessa has stupidity.
At least that's what I felt like in school. It was hard for me to learn that practical way in school. I'm more of a hands-on learner. My creative side comes out more than the whole looking at a thing on the board and writing it down or reading a book. That's just how I was.
Yeah.
But okay, so of course learning for you is more of a challenge.
Yes.
Gotcha. So you kind of feel like you have to measure up to your sister.
Yes.
So I know y'all are twins, but who was first?
Amaya, me.
Yeah. Amaya.
Okay, so in a sense, it's like she's your older.
But we have this ongoing joke that Vanessa is actually the older twin because in every like sonogram picture, she's actually twin A and I'm twin B because I was the smallest baby. That's what we go by.
Here's
Here's
what's crazy. If I didn't know that, I would have guessed she was the older one.
Yeah,
Why?
I think
I don't
everybody
know.
would have said that. Everybody would say that she's the older one because I feel like she looks older. And like
But my
some days
maturity
she's a little
is-
bit mature, but like my maturity levels are a little bit higher than hers.
You know, it could also be.
Yeah, a lot, but trying to be nice.
It could also be because just by getting to know you guys over the past week, you seem to be a little more outgoing than Amaya. So for some reason, when it comes to like what we're doing here, it seems that way. Like when we did the commercial and stuff like that, you kind of seemed a little bit more out there, but then you would come in too and do some stuff. So.
Yeah, she took over when Amaya would come
Yeah.
in. She'd come in strong.
Yeah, she did.
With people I know, I'm so like outgoing, and there's like
She doesn't really put a guard up.
yeah.
Right. But I don't know what it is. I don't know if you want to call it your aura or what. But for some reason, I would have thought you were the.
I think a lot of
older.
people think that though, but I've
That's
always
crazy.
been told that I am the older one because I'm the mature one.
Right. So you were just holding on to her foot when she came out.
But no, I whisked her back and I said, "I'm coming into the light."
The good light, not the bad light.
All right. So, Consuela. I mean Elizabeth. Sorry. I just keep going back to that. Anyway, how about you?
Gotta go close.
What pressures do you have? Like, what do you have with your parents? What kind of pressure are you dealing with?
So
With your mom? I'm
I
sorry.
feel like I have a lot of pressure to be the good child because my brother acts out sometimes, and I know that puts a lot of stress on my mom.
How old is your brother?
He is 15.
So he's older than you or younger?
Younger.
Than you? Younger. Who's the
We're-
oldest? Are you the oldest?
Yes, we're a year and 3 months apart.
Ah, okay.
So
okay.
we're very close in age.
Right. But the whole acting out thing, of course, not having your dad there.
Yes,
and
it's
stuff.
all because of that.
Of course. So, because of that, you have this pressure that you've got to be the
Good kid.
good kid.
And like if I act out, I feel bad, and I'm like, oh, I'm putting more stress on her. So I
Gotcha.
try not to act out.
Gotcha. And you said she's really strict, right?
No, my mom's not strict.
Oh, okay, your mom's
She's
not
really, really chill.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Like my brother does some bad stuff here and there, and she just lets it slide. But I
And
feel like
that-
when I do bad stuff,
She
I
doesn't
get in
let you
trouble.
slide.
Yes.
Welcome to being the oldest.
Yeah, and I think it's just because you're the oldest.
Yeah.
You should be represented as a role model. So
Yeah.
Or like she she suspects that you're
Yeah.
supposed to do good because that's who you are.
Yeah, I've never been a bad kid. So when I do something bad, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So I think that does have a lot to being the oldest, because my parents were the same way with me, and they would always do the whole "you should know better, you should this, you should that," and it's like, okay, just because I'm the oldest,
I'm not even the oldest, and my parents expect that from me.
And like with my family, it's kind of weird because even now as adults, right? As adults, I have 3 brothers and a sister in my family that I grew up with, all younger than me, like I said, right? So my mom now, as adults, she babies my brothers.
Yes.
Okay. But the weird thing is she doesn't do that with me or my sister. Now with me, I get it because I'm the oldest. But with my sister, it's because my sister is the only girl.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And so my mom, and this is just my kind of interpretation, I just think that my mom thinks that if she did things a certain way, my sister should be doing it too. But anyway, I get that. So do you feel like for the most part, do you feel like you're living up to that expectation, or do you feel like you just keep messing it up?
I don't feel like I messed it up. I feel like I'm pretty good, but sometimes I do get irritated. Like this morning, he wanted some food, and when I want food, she won't cook it for me because she knows I can cook. But with my brother, she'll cook him eggs or French toast, like in the morning.
And you get cereal?
Yeah, or like I
The
like
scraps.
or my mom's like, go make some toast. You know how to make that.
Yeah.
So it's just like things like that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm
gets on.
distracted by these Mexicans pulling out
Yes,
knives behind
excuse
us.
you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Give me some. We're trying to record a podcast here.
Why you pulling out a knife over there, Will? What you
Yeah, did you see? He's like, watch out. I just turned over and I
having a serious conversation over here. This guy's just pulling out a knife. Okay, anyway. All right, so we got the whole thing pressure. So where do you guys think individually, all right? Where is your we already talked about the pressure that you put on yourself. Is there another area in your life that you feel like you're dealing with pressure?
Well,
or is it all just go back to you just putting it on yourself?
No, there are some times where I do. I feel like when it comes to school, it's pressure on myself. Like I put that pressure on myself to be the best that I can be because I want to do good. Like obviously I want to do good to impress my parents. I want to make something out of myself while in school. Like I don't want to be spending time in school just to get good grades and then not do something with that. Like I want to get somewhere in life. Even if I don't know what it is or where I'm going to get, like I want to do something good with myself.
Right.
But adding on to what Elizabeth said, I feel like sometimes I have pressure in my house because I'm not the oldest. Like I have 2 older siblings, but out of our like small little family group, my parents expect me, just because I am the mature one, I am the older one, out of the younger ones, they expect me to be a role model. They expect me to do good. Like don't do something you wouldn't want them to do. Like, and yeah, I guess like this incident when I blew out my little sister's birthday candle. So sorry about that. I didn't know it was gonna be a big deal. I fanned it with the paper plate just as a joke because this whole corona stuff, you know, like don't catch germs. I did it as a joke. You know, I got in trouble for that. And like, yes, it hurt in the moment for her, but like I didn't know it was gonna be such a big deal. Like I just acted out of doing something stupid, but then like later my parents pulled me aside telling me like, you're the older sister, like how would you feel if you were in that position, like right. You hurt her. So like when I act out whatever, when I do something like minor like that, it comes back to me and then I feel bad and then I'm like, oh great, like my parents think low of me now because I blew out candles with a paper plate. How old is your sister? She just turned 15.
Oh, she'll get over it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And my parents were getting after me, and they were like, "How would you feel if she blew out your candle?" And I was like, "I share a birthday with my sister. If I don't blow the candle out, it's her spit on the candle. Like, it doesn't make a difference for me." And I was like, "We could have just relit them if it was such a big deal."
And
like,
that's what I said at the end. I was like, we could just relight them if it was a
we
big
got
deal,
more
just relight
candles.
them.
Right.
I didn't think it was going to be a big deal in that moment. But, like, as an older sibling, like, I guess it hurt her. It could have been, you know, it was her big day. She couldn't really do much because of the whole COVID and social distancing. So, like, I can see how that hurt. That, like, makes it, whatever. But, you know, but then that comes out back to me. And then I get kind of, like, nagged at and
But then that comes back to that whole pressure you put on yourself.
Yes,
like
like
you just
I
said,
mess up, I slipped up. Now I
and
got to
you-
do better to like get straight in check again.
Yeah, but you said something very key. Just, and I don't even know if you caught it, but you said that you kind of feel like, well, now my parents are gonna think of me kind of, lower or something like that, and that's a big burden to put on yourself. And the reality is, no, she still thinks you're just
Same old.
Yeah,
Maya.
same
probably.
old Maya,
Yeah,
same old Maya being a Maya. Then that's honestly what. But it's a real feeling that you have, that you actually feel that way. Like, oh, they're gonna think less of me.
And
now.
that's why I think in the moment, like, I took it much harder when they
Right,
had a conversation
right.
with me, just because then I feel that afterwards.
Yeah, but I've been noticing that about you. You seem to wear your heart on your sleeve a lot. Like she's already about to start crying. We talking about blowing out candles, and she's about to cry. You good?
Just because when I apologized, she laughed at me. Like, okay, was it not that big of a deal in the moment then? Or were you just going to cry about it because mommy and daddy got upset? That's how I felt.
Tell us how you really feel.
Well, she knows how I felt. I explained it to her.
Now
It's her
time for
choice if she
therapy.
listens.
And how does that make you feel? Just kidding. That was my bad Dr. Phil impersonation. Anyway, so what areas in your life do you feel the most pressure? Vanessa.
I guess my mental health.
Okay. How so?
I try not to take everything out on people and be like, oh, I'm just have anxiety, or I'm suffering through depression, or stuff like that. And
Okay.
I try to express what I'm feeling, but when people don't understand, it's kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's just
So so when you talk about your mental illness, are you saying the pressure is in not trying to use it as a crutch, or trying to get people to understand that this is what you're dealing with?
both.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that can be very
And adding on to
stressful.
that, I think it's because she's very bad at expressing how she feels. Like, she can feel so upset, but she'll take it out on everybody so angry. Like, she'll be aggressive with everybody, even though
Right.
she just wants to cry with someone.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Like, she can't explain her feelings to people.
Yeah.
And
Why-
she's that person who, can't speak when she has an idea in her head. She's just like, you need to understand me. You need to understand me.
Gotcha.
I'm like, just see it through my mind.
Yeah, and then she gets upset on top of that because nobody can, connect with her for
I
what
got
she's
you.
feeling.
I got you. And that must be really frustrating.
Yes.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
Don't
understand
live
that.
with her.
As producers, I can relate, because you sit there wanting to do something with music and you're creating, and then you're just like, why can't I get this idea from here in my brain to here in the system?
Yes.
It's like a
It's
jammed
just-
printer. Just come out.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, no,
So-
trust me. I know what that feels like.
So real
Go ahead.
quick though, so do you understand your sister's frustration and feelings in that moment, and do you try to help by encouraging, maybe throwing ideas, things of that nature out?
Or do you pour gas on the fire?
Exactly.
Sometimes I try to get through her. I'm like, don't get angry. Just, if you need to cry it out, but tell me what's wrong. We can kind of lead that into a relationship that she just got out of. I wasn't with her whenever a breakup occurred, and she needed me, and I felt hurt and upset because I couldn't be there for her. And everybody in the house, we're twins, so we connect differently
At a different
than
level.
everybody else does. So she just needed that twin moment so I could be there, comfort her, but nobody else could get through to her. But then whenever I finally arrived home and got through her, she was like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of okay now. Now that I'm out and
Right.
it's out there, I'm okay.
Yeah, and it's just she was very helpful with the distraction, and she knows how to make me laugh, and she knows me on a different level than my family does.
Mm-hmm.
They try to make her laugh, but sometimes it's okay, mom, just shut up. You're not really making me laugh. You're just making me think about it even more.
Yeah.
And they try, they give effort. That's okay. We appreciate them. We thank you for your care and your loving and the food on the table every night. But it's a twin love thing. You can't help that.
And it's just sometimes she could just read my mind
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah.
But then there are other days where I'm like, Vanessa, shut up, get over it, move on. You've cried about it already. Get over it.
Unless I'm reading and she's like, Vanessa, I'm bored. Come and play with me.
Or when she sleeps, I'm like, when nap time happens, you don't nap for 6 hours straight. You nap
I've
for
never napped for 6
you
hours
nap
straight,
for
first of all.
2-3 hours. I hate that. I'm like, okay, go to sleep. That's cool. But wake up in 2 hours. Don't sleep until, I don't know, midnight.
Okay, hold on. we
we
started,
got to a whole different thing.
we started over here, and we ended up somehow way the hell over there.
On a different side of the world.
So let's back up a little bit.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Let's
Yeah.
ask us whether a question real quick.
Yeah. So
I think she's lost too.
okay, so you guys just kind of simmer in that for a second. What areas in your life, Elizabeth, are you dealing with pressures mostly?
Mainly at home, but also at school. I try not to put pressure on myself. Like Vanessa has seen me at school.
Yes.
Like some days I don't care about my grades because I have dyslexia, so
Oh,
school
wow.
is harder for me
Yeah.
than other kids, and I don't like putting pressure on me because that makes me more stressed out.
Gotcha.
And I also hold in my feelings to the point I break. Like the other day, I kicked a hole in my wall because
wow.
I held everything in, and I broke, and I kicked,
Right.
and
So
a hole.
So having said that, you'll have to excuse me. I'm one of those that like to dig a little deeper.
It's fine.
So would you say you deal with a lot of anger right now?
Somewhat, yeah. It was anger with my dad.
I was about to say that.
So-
Coming from your dad.
Because I keep stuff in with my dad because a lot of people don't understand and they try to act like they understand, and that makes me more mad because it's like you don't understand.
Right. Right. So the anger that you're feeling with your dad, it goes in a lot of different directions, I'm
Yes.
sure. And I'm sure a big part of it is because you feel like he's rejected you. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you really love me, you would kick your habit and you would be my dad.
Because like as a child, like when I was younger, he was a great dad. Like,
Right.
and then my mom tells me all these stories, and it's like I wish I had that now because that's when I need it, not when I was a baby.
Right. So the stories that she tells you about your dad, are they bad stories?
No, they're good
They're
stories.
actually good stories. Okay.
Like she's like, while I was at work, he was taking care of you. He
Gotcha.
was the one who saw your first steps,
Gotcha.
and he like took you everywhere.
Right.
And
And you're like, that's what I need now.
yes.
Yeah.
I've always been a daddy's girl, apparently.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And the fact that he's not able to give you that now,
Yes.
bottom line is you're pissed at him.
yes.
Have you ever told him?
No, because then he pulls this act like, oh, well, your mom doesn't let me in your life.
Blames everybody
Yeah.
else.
Yes, he doesn't see it as it's
fault.
him that's making it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, being that I've been in your shoes before, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. One thing I wish I would have done is I wish I would have told him way back when.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You can tell him and he's going to react the way he's going to react. But the bottom line is that at least you're getting it out. Because what I would hate to see happen to you is that anger that you have start to grow and start to grow and start to grow, and then it starts to affect you in other ways because it has to come out, right?
Yes.
And it can come out in anger. It can come out in other ways that are not healthy for you. You can develop bad habits
Yes.
because you're trying to get this feeling out.
Self-relief.
Yeah, exactly. So, just some suggestions. Maybe write a letter.
I've wrote actually some
Have
stuff
you?
in my notes
Cool.
that I wanted to send him, but when he was in town, he actually got mugged, so he doesn't have a phone right now.
He got mugged.
Yes.
Is that what he said?
Yes. But
Do you believe that it happened?
no,
I
I
was
feel
about to
like
say
he
that.
was. I feel
Yeah.
like he was messed up, fell asleep,
Yeah.
and someone took his stuff.
Yeah, that's
because
probably
it's
what
happened before.
That's probably what happened.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just saying that. Yeah, go
real
for
quick?
it.
Okay, so like adding on to that,
Yeah,
I've
sit
been
back.
in the same
Yes.
position as you. Not that long ago, like actually last summer, I went through a kind of phase where I was like, I need to let everything I have out from my sperm donor. I need to like get it out, or else I'm gonna like erupt. I'm gonna explode. And I tried talking to him, and he did exactly what he does. He disappointed me. He walked straight out. Honestly, he kind of blamed everything on my mom.
Yeah.
He didn't want to believe that what he did was what he actually did. I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
totally
you're good.
get how
You're
you
good.
feel
No, you're
right
good.
now.
You're good. Take
You're
your time.
good.
Take your time.
Like we said before, we want you to be real in this. So
Like,
that's
I
fine.
don't like bringing it up because sometimes my dad plays like, oh, I shouldn't be alive, and maybe I'll just go die under a bridge. Like, he's told me that before, and that, like, really hurts me because you don't need to tell your child that.
No.
Especially when all they want is comfort
No.
from
Yes.
They It just y'all just need love.
Yes.
You're looking for love. And you need love from the man who created and helped mold you. You know what I'm saying?
And then all they'll give over and over again is disappointment.
Yeah. And you know what's sad is a lot of parents, and this is speaking for my own self. I'm not going to say this is everybody, but just for me, is that we get so focused on certain things in our life that we forget that there's other people we're supposed to be responsible for. Yeah. You know, and me personally, this house, you know, I have to pay for this house. I have to pay for the cars and the food and everything else. So I get so fixated on I gotta provide. And then when my daughter comes and say, hey Dad, you know, can you do this? Dude, I'm trying to do something here. I'm trying to help, you know. And that's what usually that happens. And that's unfortunate because that's balance in my life that I've lost. You know, I'm trying to gain back and you do things. You know, and now I've made a whole lot of changes in my life to be more accustomed, be there for my kids. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard because, you know, Rob doesn't know this. So about 2 weeks ago, I got a call from my old job wanting to pay me my 6-figure salary to come back to work for him, doing 100 hours a week. And you know how hard that is for me to say no and walk away from that? Real hard. You know, but the reality is I make the choice to do what I did for my kids. You know what I'm saying? And I have balance. I have clarity now. And you guys, you have a situation in your own life that you're faced with these problems, and you know you two have a stepdad who stepped in, and amazing man. You know what I'm saying? Amazing man for you guys. You know, you don't have that but eventually you're gonna find somebody, or your mom's gonna find somebody, or you can lean on somebody, a mentor, you know, up here who can help guide you through that problem, help guide you through a situation. Because see, when you close it up, it makes it worse.
Yes, it does.
It makes it a whole lot worse. And sometimes you just need to get it out. So like with me, when I used to get upset with my family, I would write, and
I do the same.
I would write. Then I would sit there and go play my drum set, or I'll play a guitar, or I'll go play a bass, or I'll play a piano, something to get me out of that funk. I'm not gonna lie to you though, it made me really good at playing instruments. And Rob can agree to that too. I bet he's done that a few times.
Oh yeah, that all that energy that I had from that, I poured it into my music. That's why I can play guitar, bass, drums, keyboard, write music, all that stuff. So it has to go somewhere. So, but I will say this. You said something about feeling bad when your dad says those things. And I want you to understand something. This is coming from an adult.
Yeah.
That is a common tactic with people with that kind of problem.
Yeah, addicts.
Yeah. It's this self-deprecating thing that they do because that's their way of getting someone to feel sorry for them.
Yeah, I know.
So that's why he says what he says. He
doesn't mean it.
No, he doesn't mean it, because the bottom line is that he's narcissistic, and narcissists love themselves like crazy because the proof is in the pudding. You know, the fact that he doesn't want to give up drugs because it makes him feel good.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So as hard as it is, you got to try when he does that just to be like, whatever.
It's just really hard because he'll go on these like sober streaks where he's like sober for 6 months, and like I actually have his first month and second month chips he gave me for my birthday because he's like, you're the reason why I want to be sober.
Right.
And he'll be like sober for these 6 months, and then he'll have a slip. Like he'll lose his job and then he'll slip up.
Right.
And like that hurts. It's like, how hard is it to stay sober? Like I know it's hard.
Yeah.
It's just like, I wish he could be sober.
Yeah. It's very hard. It's very hard. The bottom line is this, and I don't mean to get, I'm not trying to get preachy or anything like that.
It's okay.
I'm really not. But if I can just kind of give an explanation, we're all broken. Everybody. All of us are broken. Humanity as a whole, when we came into this world, we were broken. The reason why we were broken is because that connection that we had with our maker was broken a long time ago. Until we find that connection with our maker, we will always be broken, and we will always try to find something to fill that brokenness.
Yes.
For some people it's drugs, for some people it's sex, other people it's other things. You know what I mean? So until we get back that connection with our maker, for for my beliefs, until you get back that connection with God, you're always going to be trying to find that. And it's tough. You know, it really is. I've dealt with different kinds of addictions in my life, and I will say this: when your dad is in his sober spots and he says those things to you, he's not lying.
Yeah.
He really isn't. You are his reason for being sober. The problem is is that at some point when you are faced with something like losing your job, it automatically puts you into that comfortable spot of where you that not so much comfortable, but that familiar spot. And to try to make yourself feel better, you go back to that familiarity, and for him, it's the drugs.
Like, he's like, I can sell drugs and make good money, or I can struggle to find jobs. So, like, he goes back and forth. Like, some days he's good, and some days he's not.
Yeah. I understand, and I feel for you. I really do, and I'm sorry you're having to go through that. So, but,
I got a question,
Yeah, go for it.
You know, so as we were talking about, finding a father figure, finding someone that we can eventually lean on, like, you know, we did with our stepdad. Like, we eventually went through, we found somebody that we can call a father figure. How is it for you to, how do I say this, to depend, like, how is it for you relation-wise when you get into a relationship with the guy? Like, do you still think that they could eventually end up
Like your father.
yeah, like,
So, actually, my ex, you know of,
Yes.
he was a lot like my dad.
I'm gonna just sit back for this one.
And my mom pointed it out, and she's like, you're like searching for guys who are like your dad. So, like, my dad's tall, kind of shaggy hair, brown eyes, rock and roll, and that was exactly my ex. So, and like a lot of things my ex did, I saw in my dad. So, like, it hurt. And if I brought it up, he would be like, well, I'm not your dad. And, like, that was, like, a big problem we had. Because he was like, stop comparing me to your dad. I'm not your dad. So
You feel like when you're looking for guys, maybe subconsciously you're trying to find guys that are like your dad.
Yeah. Like, there's, like, this saying, you marry someone who's like your dad.
Wow.
But I don't want to marry someone like my dad.
Wow.
I don't.
So, I don't know.
Vanessa, you should definitely answer that question as well. No, like, we had a discussion about it. No, like, not throwing her out. We had a discussion about it in the car, like, coming up with questions, trying to think of things that people would want to hear.
Yeah.
We kind of came up with coming out of a horrible relationship with a man that you depended on to be a dad. How is it that you can go around and trust any other guy in your life? Like,
Yeah, it's really
she,
hard.
like I said, she just came out of a really good relationship that she was going through. Like, she had really great times. Like, she depended on that one person to not be her dad figure, but she depended on that one person. She went to that person. She trusted that person. That was somebody that she cared for, that she could go to for everything.
How long were you with this person?
6. I would say 6 months. Yes.
They were so cute.
Everyone shipped it.
Not anymore.
I'm the one who actually set them up.
Listen, before you answer this question, I do want to. I want to bring this one little point to all the adults listening right now, because I know what you're thinking. Because I'm thinking it, and we can't think like this right now. Because the whole purpose of this podcast is to bring us to that common level, so we can understand each other. Adults understand, teens get. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Vanessa. Right away, as you're saying that and everything in my head, I'm like, 6 months, really? Come on.
That's a long
But
time.
in all reality, though, for you, 6 months, you had
Like 6 years.
Yeah, you had a real relationship.
Yes.
You like you said, you trusted this person. To a certain extent, you probably loved this person. You gave them your heart, kind of thing.
And she's the kind of person who doesn't trust easily. Like to find trust, especially in a guy, that took a lot out of her to go out and put herself out there and to get into a relationship, even when she maybe thought that she wasn't necessarily ready yet.
I remember she was very, very shy.
So indecisive too. She was like, "Oh, do I love him? Do I not? Do I love him? Do I not?" Like, girl, just get into a relationship with the guy if you want to get into a relationship with the guy.
She always wanted someone there with her.
Yes.
And she was nervous to be alone with him.
But she opens up to him. She opens up to him. Let's explain your relationship. Like, let's go back to the question with how, like, you did trust him. You depended on him, especially when school was still going on, when school was a thing.
So, since I have anxiety, and I really depend on my mother mostly, like when I would call her and be like, "Mom, I can't do this. I need help, whatever." And so, I couldn't really call her all the time because obviously she's busy with my 2 little siblings who need her more than I do.
Right.
So, So we were dating, and so I fully trusted him, and I was like, I have anxiety and stuff like that, and he would help me through it, and he would calm me down, and he would understand, not personally understand what I'm going through, but he would try to understand and be there.
Right.
And it was somebody I could lean on during the day when my mother couldn't help me.
Gotcha. And how long ago did the breakup happen?
Probably
Not even a month ago, like a little less than a month ago.
Okay. So I know it's only been maybe a month. Do you feel like you would be able to get into another relationship, or like you're like, oh heck no, I'm not doing that again?
I feel like I still have to find myself. I'm not really good at talking to people, and that's what he said. That's why he ended the relationship, because
I see.
it wasn't a very good conversation going back and
There was
forth.
no communication between one or the other.
Wait a minute, time out. So a guy, how old is he?
16, he'll be 17.
Really? And he broke up with you because the communication wasn't there?
He felt the communication wasn't there, but when I got a hold of him and I texted him, I'm her older sister.
I tried texting him
I gotta
too.
figure out what the real tea is underneath that little lie, like that little carpet lie that he just laid down to tell her to get over the relationship. Like,
Tell it, girl.
It took you 6 months to realize you didn't want to be in a relationship
Right.
with somebody.
What'd he say?
Because he told me that he didn't feel like being in a relationship with her was what he wanted.
He said there was something missing, and then I texted him, and I was like, why did we break up? I don't understand. He's like, I really didn't like you anymore,
But he told me the complete opposite. He just said she wasn't what he wanted in a relationship. And that's when I got angry, because I was like, why did it take you 6 months to realize it? She didn't even want to be in a relationship to begin with. She was really like iffy getting in, but she still put herself out there.
Right.
And I don't want to say he took advantage of that, but it's almost as if he took advantage of that and still got into a relationship with her. But before this happened, 2 weeks before, we had this one friend who, everybody knows her. She kind of overstepped. She kind of.
I didn't mean to say that.
It's okay.
Sorry, she treated me bad.
Anyway, go ahead.
She's the kind of person who always wants to one up you. She always wants to
Yeah.
make herself better, even when she's not that. Like, come on, we're all the same here. You're really not that much better than any of us.
Yeah, I know some people like that.
Yeah, she's
Yep.
like the beginning of drama.
Gotcha.
She always wants to be in it.
Gotcha.
She'll find a way to get
she
in it.
feeds off of it.
Yeah,
Right,
like
right.
that's
And
where
then
she
it's
finds
out
her.
when she starts.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then she doesn't want to take blame for her actions.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a
we
lot
all
of-
know
yeah,
people
we
like
know
that.
She
people
kind of threw some things when we all hung out together.
Yeah,
she
she's
kind of
like,
threw
oh my
some
god,
things
I
in
like
there.
that too. Or like, oh my god, Vanessa, I have so much more in common with
common?
your boyfriend than
Yeah.
you do. And
So we
But she
kind of
was
think,
doing that when you guys were dating.
yeah, but that's the thing.
And they were close.
I'm in a relationship too, and she liked the guy that I was in a relationship with. And whenever I asked,
This is the
I
tea,
don't want to
guys.
say I asked for her opinion. I just wanted to like give her heads up, like, hey, I know you liked him. He doesn't like you. He's made it obvious he doesn't like you. I just want to let you know, like, I'm sorry for anything that's going to happen. I'm sorry for your past, but I'm going to get into a relationship with this person. But she still did things to try and, like, mess up our relationship. She still did things to try and shove her way into a relationship when it wasn't going to go anywhere between them two.
Right.
Like, he thought she was kind of a little, like, okay,
Creepy.
like, get away. Like, don't stalk me. You don't need to know
Right,
how
right.
tall I am, how much I weigh. Like,
Yeah.
get out of here. So I feel like, well, we all have this lingering, like, thought that she was the reason she put that idea into her ex-boyfriend's head
yes.
to make it seem that
And
way.
then like a week
Is this what
later,
it's like to be on The View? I'm just.
It is now.
a week later, I said, "There's really nothing to talk about since we're in quarantine. It's just like the same day over and over again." And then a couple days later, he's like, "Vanessa, we need to talk. I don't think this is working out. I think it's better if we're just friends."
I know that.
It was really hard.
Even
If it's like, oh, people are gonna be like, it's 6 months, like get over it.
no,
But
yeah,
That's a
no,
long
it's-
time.
But she
Yes.
did
Yeah.
put
And you guys
her
had an
heart
emotional
and energy. Like,
relationship
yeah, she
before
really
that.
did care
That's-
about it.
Like my ex, like we only did it for a month, but we had like an emotional relationship for like almost a year
Right.
before we started dating. So it hurt more.
Yeah.
Like
Okay, so we're gonna pause.
Okay.
Because we need to go to a break so we can let our sponsors have their time.
Okay.
So when we come back, we're gonna continue talking about, because apparently we're talking about relationships. so we're gonna continue to talk about relationships and kind of talk a little bit more on that. And so we'll be right back with Amaya, Vanessa, and Elizabeth. All right.
Are you ready for a workout that will change your life? Get up off the couch, get into your vehicle, and get on over to Metroflex Gym. This is the only gym in San Marcos, Texas area that will help you lose that weight, get in shape, and even gain some mass. Metroflex Gym with professionals on staff to help you reach those goals. That's right, Metroflex Gym, located at 2101 Clovis Barker Road, San Marcos, Texas, 512-878-8575. Metroflex Gym. Search us online, metroflexsanmarcos.com. Don't wimp out. Come to the house of hardcore, Metroflex Gym.
Do you suffer from problems with your skin? Maybe you have acne, rosacea, or you just want to have a younger and healthier look? Then Chic Boutique is the place for you. Chic Boutique prides themselves on being a corrective skincare clinic. They offer cutting-edge technologies as well as their own professional product line. Your skincare goals will be reached quickly and effectively without being invasive or using toxic chemicals to achieve the results you desire. They offer customized facials, advanced skincare treatments, and so much more. They also specialize in permanent makeup and body treatments. Give them a call at 830-556-0815. That's 830-556-0815. Stop by and talk to them in person at 2115 Stevens Place, Suite 1010, New Braunfels, Texas 78130. You can also find them online at www.chicboutique.org. That's www.chicboutique.org. And guys, don't feel left out. There is a treatment for you too. Don't knock it till you try it. Start your skin journey today by calling Chic Boutique.
Do you own your own business? Are you looking for a platform where you can advertise and just get more people to come through your door? Well, look no further than the What's on My Mind podcast. In case you didn't know, the What's on My Mind podcast is probably one of the fastest growing podcasts out there today. Our audience is not just local, but worldwide. Our numbers in the local market seem to go up every single week. These are people that can be walking in through the doors of your establishment. All you have to do is contact us at wommpodcast@gmail.com. That's wommpodcast@gmail.com. Use our platform as your platform to get your business out there for people to notice you. Again, contact us at wommpodcast@gmail.com. All you got to do is contact us. We'll contact you back, and we will make this thing happen. Help us to help you. What's on My Mind podcast? That's the place to do your advertising to get your business out there. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And we're back. But before we get back into our conversation, you know what I do? I got to drop some sponsorship commercials here. Of course, I'm going to start with our friends at Silver Spoon Dinner Theater. Guys, that's located at 6700 North I-35, New Braunfels, Texas. Basically, if you're driving down 35 and you're going towards New Braunfels and you see the Texas Ski Ranch right there to your left, or if you're coming from San Antonio, it'll be to your right. You'll see the Texas Ski Ranch. This restaurant is upstairs in the Texas Ski Ranch. Silver Spoon Dinner Theater offers a unique mix of gourmet cooking and entertainment as well. It's a perfect place for a date night. When you go, you let Silver Monaco and Madison Monaco know that the guys from What's on My Mind podcast sent you, They're going to hook you up. Guys, this is the perfect place for a date night. For more information, call 210-865-3711. You can also go to silverspoon.com. That's SYLVERSPOON.com. Or email them at silver, that's SYLVER, at silverspoon.com. This place is awesome. You guys got to check it out. The food is great. Now, I do got a couple of other sponsors that we need to talk about today. These are our new sponsors. I'm going to start off first with Blue Orchid is the name of the company. They are a graphic design company. You guys have seen our logo. They designed that. You guys have seen the little video snippets that we've been putting up on our social medias. They've done that as well.
Great.
If you need web design, graphic design, esports logos, business logo creation, product mock-ups, business consultations, they do it all. All you got to do is look up Blue Orchid online. Go to Facebook. They're on Facebook, and talk to Roger Garza. He's the guy you got to talk to, and he will hook you up. Also, I want to take this opportunity to mention our other sponsor, Collector University. Okay, Collector University sells a variety of pop culture collectibles, including comics, trading cards, Funko Pops, action figures, and more. Check out their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts to see their latest hauls. They'll place a special bonus item in every package with every purchase, so make sure you keep an eye out. That's Collector University. Now, this last one is not really a sponsor, but I gotta mention them. If you guys haven't been on our Facebook recently, you need to go check it out. We had 2 custom Yeti cups made for us.
Yep.
And the work was done by MG Glass Creations by a lovely young lady by the name of Amaya Goodnight. She is the owner and the artist. She engraved our logo and as well as our names on these cups. If you haven't seen the pictures, go to our Facebook and check them out. Guys, she does great work at a great price. So if you're interested, check it out. If you're interested in a What's on My Mind cup, hit us up. Let us know. We'll get you a deal on that. Or if you got some other design you're interested in, hit them up for that as well. She'll hook you up with that. But if you want the What's on My Mind cup, you need to let us know because we got to be the ones to place that order. Okay. Again, that's MG Glass Creations. The email address, and I'm old, so I got to take my glasses off for this one, is mgglasscreations@gmail.com. Amaya Goodnight is the owner and artist. So look them up, facebook.com, MG Glass Creations. All right. So we're here having a talk with the ladies, and we're talking relationships. That's my View New York accent. I don't even watch that stupid show. Anyway. We were talking relationships before we went to break, and I got to tell you guys something. It's just really, it takes me back. I know I've been saying this a lot, but you know, this is the way that I kind of feel I can connect with you guys because I was once a teenager, and it takes me back to that time because having a relationship back then was pretty freaking serious. You know what I mean?
Back to when you were a little doll.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, when I was little. So anyway, but yeah, so relationships. Now, I know we were talking about boyfriends and stuff like that. What about friends? Like, are you guys feeling any certain kind of pressure to be, I don't know, we were talking about popularity last week. I don't know if it's a popularity thing or to be a certain kind of way around your friends, or do you feel like you have real ride or die type friends?
I have real ride or die type friends.
Okay, cool. So is there any pressure to be a certain way with them, or can you just be yourself?
I can just be myself.
That's cool. How about the rest of you?
Well, I was actually in the friend group with Vanessa, and I love Vanessa. Nothing wrong with her.
I know. Thanks.
I don't know about that.
But
She's about to swing that mic at you.
But some of the other girls in the group made me feel like I couldn't put my opinion in things.
Gotcha.
So I decided to leave that group because I thought it was better for my mental health, because some days I would go home crying and crying. But, like, I still feel kind of pressured to keep a relationship with Vanessa.
Right.
Because sometimes it's hard, like, because we're not in the same group anymore.
Right.
But, like, we had ASL together, so we always had that class together.
Gotcha.
So
Are you guys still as close as you were before?
Yes, I feel like we're even closer.
Yeah, some days, but some days I definitely feel like we've lost, like,
Why do you feel that way?
because we
Oh,
don't
yeah, we
talk
getting
as
there.
much.
Yeah, we going there.
Just some days I feel like we don't talk as much, like, as we used to.
So do you feel like she's chosen those friends over you?
No.
Okay.
Like, even when this was going on, she was on, like, my side, and I
Right.
didn't want her to choose sides.
Right.
Like, I made that clear,
Right.
and I wanted her to be able to still be friends with them, and, like, me go on and do what's better for me, but
So
still be
just-
friends with her.
So just so I'm clear, because from my perspective hearing what you're saying, it almost sounds like they were bullying you. Is that the case?
No, I don't know the whole story. She knows more than I do.
I
They
don't-
kept a lot from
You should
me.
give like a
Gotcha.
little background because
Yeah.
Elizabeth here, she's a very 100% honest.
Yes.
Like she'll throw it at your face
Oh
if she
yeah,
doesn't
I
like
can
you.
see that
Like,
for sure. For sure.
And the girls didn't like
and
that.
not everybody respects that. And I think in their friend group, not everybody respects that just because they're hearing the truth and they're hearing it over and over again, and they don't like to hear what's being said about them because it's the truth.
Especially if it's about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. So you were being a little too honest.
Yes, but also I would realize that and apologize, and I was like, I shouldn't have to apologize for the way I am.
I'm gonna just take a stab in the dark here. Were you calling them out on their BS?
Yeah, or like this one, I can't say, but this one girl's actions sometimes, I'm like, why are you doing this?
But then
Right.
she gets upset that she's like getting hurt by people, that these people
Yeah.
are doing things to her. But then like, don't throw yourself out there.
Like
To get
like,
hurt
I don't
and get
wanna
wheeled back in.
Sound rude, but like some of the clothes she wore, she was like, "Why am I getting this attention?" And I would be like, "Because the way you're dressing."
So
And
you were being honest with her to try to help her out. But let me guess, it wasn't perceived that way. It was perceived more in a judgment type manner, right?
Yes, and like I can be honest sometimes, and I know that.
Yeah.
And also, I don't like when they come at me.
Right.
So
But like, wouldn't you rather hear it from your closest friends than hearing it from
From a
some
stranger.
random person
Yeah.
or from a
You're right.
teacher?
You're
or from
right. You're
somebody-
right. But here's the thing too. You got to understand that. Oh, first and foremost is this: you're not responsible for how somebody else takes something. Now you are responsible for how you say it.
Yes.
Right.
And
So yeah, I'll be willing to venture that
Yeah.
you might have said some things. You could have probably said them better.
yes.
Right. But at the same time, if you're doing it with good intentions, then the responsibility does fall on the other person on how they take it. I'll give you a perfect example. Here recently, a very close friend of mine, I apologized to this friend for if I offended them by doing something because I hadn't really spoken to this friend in a while and whatnot. And this friend came back and said, well, it wasn't that I was upset at that. I was upset at this, and went on to tell me that, you know, you couldn't even keep your promise to me about such and such and such and such. And it felt like a punch to the gut.
Yeah,
It
I get
hurt.
that.
But here's the thing. She wasn't wrong. Right? So that's when I have to make the decision in me. Am I going to be the adult and be like, you know what? You're right. I can't be mad at you for saying that because what you're saying is right. Or am I going to be petty and be like, well, screw you. You don't have to talk to me like that. That's why I have to make the decision.
Yeah.
They obviously chose petty.
But
You know?
I was also very petty at sometimes. Like
course.
after I left, like Vanessa knows, I was like, I don't want to hang out with these people. I don't want to be around them. And like this quarantine really made me think about the situation. And I actually made like a group chat on Instagram, and I apologized. And two of the girls, like one of the girls went out of her way and like personally DM'd me, and I felt like really happy about that. And
That's
she
good.
was like, I had no problem with you, but and then one of the girls that I had a problem with, she actually had a problem with her too. And she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize how she was, but now I do. So like we both apologized, and we both are like civil now. Like I don't
That's
hate
good.
her.
Yeah.
So
That's good. And it's really great to see, you know, young people. Y'all are maturing. Definitely. That's a very mature way to handle a conflict. You know, unfortunately, not a lot of people are like that. Not a lot of adults are like that. I hate to say.
A whole
lot of adults ain't
whole
like
lot.
that. They could learn a thing or two from you guys. So,
I hope
that's
they're
great.
listening and learning from this episode
Yeah,
right now.
no doubt, no doubt.
Soak it all up.
Yeah, soak it all up. So, okay, so friendship, relationships. So there's not really pressure because y'all's friends are the real deal friends. Of course, you have your unique situation as well. But we also know there's a lot of people out there that put up fronts and facades because they want to hang out with certain people and things like that for popularity reasons and such like that. I'm sure that puts pressure on them, but the funny thing about that is it's kind of like your situation where they put the pressure on themselves, but it's pressure they don't have to put on themselves. You know, it's like, just be who you are.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, not a lot of people are like that, though. So, anyway, you got any other questions that you, because I saw you had a list.
Long.
You had a
questions.
pretty...
It wasn't long.
It's not long, but I actually have a really good question that I don't necessarily know how to answer myself because I've
Okay.
never been bullied or I've never been offended by anything by
Gotcha.
it. But you know, one of our responders actually asked me a deep question, and it was like, I gotta find it. Wow.
Why do people?
Yeah, the question was, why do people bully the other person based off of their looks or their body?
I totally get that.
Yeah,
because
and I'm
personally-
glad we have someone who can answer that.
Because personally, like, I'm not the thinnest, and my school.
Me neither.
Yeah, my school is full of the thin, white, little preppy girls. No offense to our school.
And I think like they like to
Nobody
make
knows
sure
where it
they
goes
know of it
Yeah.
too. Like they like to like throw it out there.
they
and make
like to
others
flaunt like their
flaunt it.
stuff. Like, so freshman year, there was this girl in my biology class, and our biology teacher had the desks very close together. And because of my 504, like, it's in my 504 that I need to be in the front of the class because I learn better.
What's a 504?
It's with
You
like
can't say it?
It's
It's one of those things you can't say?
It's a disability that kids get to do certain things, requirements that school
Okay.
has with the parents.
Gotcha.
My kids have this as well.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So, but anyway, I had to sit in the front, and my teacher put me in the middle, and I like to get up and roam the halls. So, I asked to go to the bathroom, and the desks were very tight, and I have kind of wide hips and a kind of big butt. So, I accidentally knocked her papers off her desk.
Right.
So, like, I heard her, like, be like, oh, you're so fat, and, like, that really got to me.
Yeah.
So, like, situations like that.
Yeah.
Like, I've always, not, like, always been bullied about my weight, but, like, it's one of my insecurities, so.
I'm right there with you, girl. I'm right there with you.
you're beautiful.
You're not alone. You're
Yeah.
not alone. I actually read something today that really stuck with me, and then it actually made me smile. You're not fat. You have fat. There's a difference.
Yeah.
So don't claim to be that thing. It's just something that you have. And the cool thing is that you can get rid of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, just like what Vanessa just said right now, you know, you're beautiful. You know, don't let that define you. But I know how it is. You know, you can have everybody tell you that, but when you have that one person or that one thing happen, yeah, because it still happens to me to this day. I'm a big dude. You know what I mean? I've been the things I've dealt with. I've had people straight up ask me, like, how did you get a wife like that? And I know exactly what they mean. It's because I'm a big fat Mexican guy. That's why you're asking me that kind of thing. You know, I know that's what they're saying. You know,
I haven't got questions like that.
well, no, I know, but you know, I'm married.
Or like guys or people don't go up to me and like, how are you talking to guys? Like that stuff.
And it's not like what's inside of you, not
not always how you
True.
this
look.
way.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. Let's just put this out. Let me ask you, why do you think people bully?
Well,
Make
I
yourself
was
feel better.
in 8th grade. I
Okay.
was in this class called PALS, and we learned that people usually don't bully just because
Just to do it.
yeah, obviously just do. But people don't usually bully if people are going through something. Like, let's say if somebody's getting abused, they don't go bully that person.
Right.
Usually it's the person who's like popular and is a jock, and they usually
Has a
bully
title.
people. Yeah.
And
That's
do you
what
think?
I've learned.
Okay, but why do you think that is though? Like, what do you think motivates somebody? If, like, let's take what you were talking about, right? You were talking about the girls in your school that seem to be the quote unquote perfect girl, right? So why do you think somebody like that would bully somebody like you?
I think personally, like, I've heard, like, I hear a lot of stuff people
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
But I'm a good listener, and I like to listen.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but like some of these girls, I feel bad because like they have parents and they have this money, but like their parents work and they don't give time for them. And like I feel like they need that attention, so they're taking it out on, like, say someone like me, so other people give them that attention.
So to make them feel better, because
Yes.
deep down inside they're really hurting. Yeah.
I also feel like sometimes it's to keep their reputation up. Like,
Yes,
you know,
for
when
sure.
you like start letting loose and you like simmer down, and then there's nothing to like really, like, oh hey, that's her, you know?
Right.
I feel like they'll come at you, they'll find a way to pick on you just to like make them bounce up, make them like get the attention again. So
Right.
they have that pressure to keep that reputation up about themselves.
Because unfortunately, that's all they have is that reputation.
Right.
Because that's what gives them that good feeling.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Right. So okay. So having said that, so we've said this time and time again. We come, us adults here in the room, we come from a different, generation. Of course, we dealt with bullies in a very different way, right? So, in your guys' opinion, what's the best way to deal with a bully?
I say ignore them, because all they're looking for is the reaction that they want.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
if
That's a
you
good
don't
point.
give them what they want, they'll stop.
Right.
And I'll say that I kind of have experience about this. My mom likes to call this specific girl Snaggletooth. we don't have to
Okay.
go into that, but she's
Megatron.
tiny. She has a very difficult life. I want to say, like, her parents are here and there. Her parents do drugs. Her parents are like really bad into alcohol.
Home life sucks.
Yeah, it definitely does. So we did this group sometime in freshman year, youth and government. We got really close together, this group, and I was kind of just thrown in, even though I wasn't really sure I wanted to do it. I was just kind of thrown into this group, and I volunteered. We all got close, but this like smaller group of people out of me and this other girl, we kind of got like the short end of the stick with them.
Okay.
Like, they would take out what they thought, like they would go around and they would say things about us, about our family, about who we were. They would like just stupid little things, I guess, and that really got to me. Like, there was a point in time where I like didn't want to go to school. Like, any excuse, I wouldn't go.
Gotcha.
And they just did that. And I guess maybe it was for reputation. Maybe it was because they felt better about it, or she felt better about it.
Mom's giving sign language.
She wants to talk trash into this mic right now, but oh yeah, we went to this like little like celebration, like finally done with youth government, whatever. We went to eat out, and my mother walked up. My mother came, my older sister came. We all ate together, but we ate separate compared to the mean group of girls.
Right.
And before we left, my mom walked up to their faces and she told them off, and she said some things because she knew I wouldn't stand up for myself. And it's not that I didn't stand up for myself. It's just like, how do I put myself out there without them coming back to me and hating me?
Right.
So she did it for me. Thanks, Mom. Love you.
That's a ride or die mama right there.
Even though she's making me talk about this.
Well, in all fairness, though, the reason why is because, your mom, we're pretty close in age. We come from, I'm older. I'm not saying you're older.
She likes to think
She's younger than everybody.
Okay, you guys did not see that, but she just hit me.
No, but that generation, the way we dealt with bullies was a little different than nowadays. I had a few bullies growing up too. I know where you're coming from. Some of them bullied me because of my weight. Some of them bullied me because of my beliefs. And there were just some that bullied me just because they had nothing better to do, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I got to a point where I got up to my wit's end pretty much. And I'll never forget this day. I pretty much took off my backpack and just started swinging it around, and I knocked him in the head. And
Get in the way, you go down.
yeah, pretty much. And but that was how I dealt with my bullies, and that's kind of how our generation did it. You could only take so much, and we didn't really, we weren't the type to go and tell the teacher. We weren't the type to really go and tell the principal.
Nope.
Because we grew up in the old school, snitches get stitches kind of thing. And it's just one of those things you handled yourself.
But even now, though, I feel like it's hard for kids and teenagers to even think about going to talk to an adult because they'll either listen or they won't. Or like,
That's a good point.
There's
That's a very good
two-sided
point.
stories, and
Right.
they'll just be like, okay, let's just stop. Let's go here. You know the consequences after this, so let's drop it and go.
And that's why I was gonna say that's why I always think it's interesting because you always hear this like on news broadcasts and things like that about how kids need to go and tell their teachers and kids and I remember the first time I heard that I thought they probably do, but the teachers don't freaking listen.
Yeah.
So on that same note,
Yeah.
So when my daughter was in the elementary school down the street, so there was these two kids, but two brothers, that were the same age as my kids, and they would pick on my kids. So this is when I used to work a lot. And I was never home. So one day, it was back in 2016. So I had my stroke, and I was home more. So because I couldn't go back to work. So they told me, hey, I went to pick them up because I was so excited to pick them up. And then they were just like walking a certain way, doing a certain thing. I was like, what are y'all doing? They're like, oh, those kids over there. I'm like, screw those kids. What are they going to do? They can't tell you to stop walking on the sidewalk. Because I grew up in that, if they're going to tell you to do something, you're going to make me do something. You're not going to tell me to do it. That's just it. We're going to throw down. We're going to get this done and over with, and we're going to move forward in life. And my kids, I've told them, you don't look for violence. If violence finds you, then so be it. But don't look for violence. So they were just like that. So I was like, what's wrong? What is wrong?
The opinions expressed by Big Bill are not shared by those on what's on my mind. I'm just kidding.
So, I'm asking my kids, I'm like, so what's wrong? Why are you scared? Like, they just keep messing. They keep picking on us throughout the day. Did you not tell the teacher? We've told our teacher like 5 times. They haven't done anything. She said, whoa, wait a minute. So we have an old bully clause here in our school districts and this and that now. And you just sitting like, how do you tell a teacher and they do nothing about it? Mm-hmm. So the very next morning, I make a point to go take them to school and then to go sit with each teacher. Say, I gotta pick your brain. Come here. I called both the teachers out. I need to talk to you. I did it right there in the hallway, and then it got a little loud because when you're a protective parent, you tend to get loud. Yeah. So the principal came, and they were like, "Can we help you?" I was like, "Well, this is my situation. I'm like, there's 2 young men who are harassing my older daughter and my younger son. So, what are we going to do about this?" And like, what didn't you tell anybody? See, they did tell their teachers, and they've done nothing. And then the principal was like, "Wait, what do you mean? They've done nothing? That's not protocol. We're supposed to do something." And then, granted, he handled it from there. They talked to the parents, they did all their thing, right? But it's fact. Some teachers just don't care.
Yeah, but then it's like, what can a teacher do about something that's not happening in school?
So, I learned this too. So, campus exceeds past the school walls. So you realize, if you're in a building across the street and the school functions, school kids are involved, the school campus has now generated the line to where that's located at. So, for example, let's say there's a public place like a football field that everybody goes to. Let's say there's a big fight there, because they're students from the same school. That means the school campus has now extended to that football field. And now the school can now punish those kids for what happened in that football field, even if it has nowhere near your school. So I was just like, shoot, because the school is like 90. I could throw a rock and hit the elementary school. That's how close it is. And they were messing with them over here down the street from me because they felt they were away from school. They can do that, and they found out the hard way that the school campus exceeds because they're students of the school.
Yeah, and so the other thing too I want to bring up is it's different from when we were kids, right?
Oh yeah.
We dealt with our bullies. I punch you in the mouth, basically. You keep talking mess, and the thing is that's not that way anymore. Now, when you do that, cops get called. You get assault charges on you. It's a lot different now. I get that. So you said ignore your bullies. Okay, that's a good one. What about in a situation where even if you ignore the bully still follows you, the bully still talks mess? I mean, what can you do? I mean, this is a real question. This is a real problem that kids are dealing with.
Personally, I think you should try to stand up, and if that's not working, then I don't want to say go to a teacher or go to an adult, because that's probably not always going to work.
And sometimes the bullies then think like, oh, she's weak, or he's weak, like she's scared, they can't handle me, like now that just gives me more power to go after them.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Now, so I have noticed, and when I say notice, this is just stuff that I've seen on social media and things like that. So there is some differences in generations. Will, you've probably seen this a couple of times, where a kid is bullied. Let's say, like I saw this on social media. There was a kid bullied, I guess, in a cafeteria or something like that, and made fun of, and I think even like dropped a tray or something like that. And then there was a group of students that went, picked up the mess, got them a different tray, and sat with them at lunch. And I was really happy to see that. So I started thinking maybe the culture's changed a little bit. But I will admit that's something that does bother me, being someone that came from bullying. I don't, as I stated before, I don't have any kids, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know what that situation you just described, Will, I gotta hand it to you, man, the way you handled it, because I'm not sure that I could have done that, I mean, because that person wants to get up and you like, I know it's a little kid, but you pop them right in the head,
Trust me. When I was there one day and they caught those kids' parents in there, it took a whole lot to get me to not.
He was like, nobody looking.
Because it was like, there's the dude whose kids are affecting my. But then the sensible adult, the reasonable, responsible adult in me said, this guy probably doesn't even know what his kids are doing.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So I don't need to go do something to him. Let's let him figure it out. And truth be told, they actually ended up moving away from the district because they've gotten into a lot of trouble in the district. So they got kicked out of the out of the district. So
wow. So that actually brings. So we're talking about bullying a little bit. Let me ask this question, because this just reminded me of a story that I read online. Being that y'all are females, have y'all ever dealt with guys grabbing you inappropriately or anything like that?
No, I have not dealt with that.
Okay.
But I feel like sometimes if I do wear tight pants, I feel like they look.
Yeah. But they don't touch, right. So the reason I brought that up was there was a story on social media, which maybe you guys might have read it too, but of a young lady who I guess was groped, or like I guess a guy grabbed her boob or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, and she punched him in the face.
Oh, I did not.
And so after she punched him in the face, did you see this story?
No, but
yeah, I don't know what's happening right here right now. I don't know.
It's a twin moment, I guess.
I'm just trying to ignore it.
I'm sorry.
So in the story, the girl got grabbed by some kid in the school, and I believe that it was, I want to say 8th grader or 9th grader. It was around that age. Okay.
Too young.
The guy grabbed the girl. In retaliation, the girl punched him in the face, right?
Wow.
And busted his nose.
I bet she got in trouble.
Oh, yes.
Exactly. That's what happened. She got in trouble.
Right.
I've been in, not like that situation, but in elementary, there was this one kid who would pick on me, and I would finish the fight, and I would be the one who was in trouble.
Yeah. So in this particular situation, the girl, of course, called her mom. Her mom came to the school. Mom was already upset because she had to leave work, right, to go and do this.
Yeah.
And the way that they spun it, they basically told her where she punched him and he was just horsing around and she ended up punching him. And what the mom said next just totally made me look at it in a different light. And it's unfortunate that our society is like this, but let's just be honest, it is. She brought it out and said, okay, so you're getting after my daughter and you want to suspend her, although he sexually assaulted her.
I remember the story.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was just like, whoa.
Go her.
I didn't even think about it like that. So the mother right away said, if that's what's going to happen, then I'm calling the police right now, because what you just did was you sexually assaulted my daughter. She retaliated in self-defense.
Yeah.
And it took it to a whole other level. So that was the reason why I asked, because, yeah, that's the truth. What if that had happened to us in the adult world? Yes, well, calm down. It's just a story. Put the knife away.
Where's he getting that thing?
If that would happen in the adult world, yeah, that's a sexual assault right off the bat.
Sexual harassment lawsuit. There we go.
Exactly.
But like now in our day and age, I feel like it's like, oh, the girls are overreacting, trying to get attention.
Well, here's the thing. It's not just your day and age. Unfortunately, that's been our society for decades.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how...
Yeah, like, and there's been a scenario that I've been through. You know, my sister, she's been always in that life. Football games, big season. Not a crazy scenario. I've never been like hurt, touched anything. No, I'm good. Just football games, people get crazy, people do stupid things.
Right.
I have a boyfriend. He plays football.
Yeah.
A supporter. Me. I went to go drop my friends off at the gate as she was leaving, just to walk with her to go. And under the like bleachers, it's like kind of dark, where like the little stand is for
Food.
Yeah,
Concessions?
concessions. There you go. Stupid moment. I'm sorry. The brain is not here.
Where's that school
How
at?
you doing in spelling class? No, I was kidding. Go ahead.
It's called English.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, and these, I was walking back by myself, and I wouldn't say I was like dressed inappropriately, dressed in a way to get attention from
Right.
other guys, but a group of guys were like sitting there against this wall, like catcalling me, and I was just like, oh my god, I want to get out of the situation. How do I, like, my first initial thought was to like yell at them and kind of like get annoyed and get angry.
Yeah.
Just, well, I'm a girl, I'm not their size, but it was a crowded people. There was a lot of other people behind, like walking up and down that.
But it was
hall.
still a scary.
Yeah, but it was still
feeling.
a scary moment. Like in that moment, I was like, it's just me and it's just those boys, like 6 or 7 of them sitting there whistling, catcalling at me as I'm just trying to walk back to the
I
stand.
Yeah.
totally feel like that. I think I told you the story. I was walking home one day from Starbucks because I live by a Starbucks. What?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. And this guy followed me home.
Oh wow.
Like it was really scary. It was like really scary.
Wow.
Was he like an older person or?
I don't know. So all I know is I was at Starbucks with my brother and his friends, but they were taking too long. So I
you
just
left.
so I left.
Yeah, I got you.
And then I heard this big bang. I thought it was just like a garage. So I like kept on walking, but then I turned around and this guy was behind me. So I started walking, and then I kept on looking behind me, and then he was still there. So then I sped up. And meanwhile, I'm in slides, so I can't really run. And I have
Right.
Starbucks in my hand for my dad
Right.
because he was in town and wanted some. And then, like, he kept on following me, and finally I was scared, like, really scared, so I just took off, and I don't run. I hate running. So, like, I, like, came in the house freaking out, and my mom's like, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, someone followed me home. So now I don't go out when it's dark by myself. And my dad got me some pepper spray, so I have, like, that if I do go out. But
Yeah.
it was terrifying.
It is unfortunate, but you know, things like sex trafficking and stuff like that is a reality in our world today.
Yeah.
And so I will say this, I guess, just as a PSA, public service announcement, to you young ladies that are out there, just always mind your surroundings. If you can, make sure you're not alone, because there are some crazy people out there for sure.
Yeah, but like,
And like if you are alone, make sure you're in an area where there's a crowd,
people.
where
Yes,
people can
yes.
see you and where you could call.
Exactly.
I thought I would feel safe because it was my neighborhood, and
Yeah.
I wasn't wearing anything fancy. I had an old raggedy Slitterbond shirt on and some shorts.
Anything
Yeah,
could
but
just
unfortunately,
be
it's just
prerogative or
and
whatever.
it's so
that word
annoying
is.
because it's like those guys that were catcalling at me were like seniors. They were older than I was. I'm like
Yeah.
sitting over here like little sophomore. I'm like,
Why are you doing this?
yeah,
Yeah, like-
unfortunately, that's been an issue in our society even before you guys were born.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just this, the way that the world views women as a whole, and it's wrong. It
Yeah,
really
it
is. It's wrong. And it's not even just in that area. One of the things my wife that I've learned about her after being with her for so long is my wife is a musician also. She plays bass, right? And anytime we would talk about things, we would say things about her playing bass, it always had to be said, she's a chick that plays bass, or she's a woman that plays
Yeah.
bass.
Yeah.
And she hates that. She's like, why can't I just be a bass player? I'm a good bass player. Why does it have to be, oh, you're a good bass player for a chick?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be like that? Unfortunately, that's just how our society. I'll be the first to tell you, I was guilty of that at first myself. You know, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be, you know, she's a woman. She, you know, who cares if it's, you know, that shouldn't have any kind of
Be respected
effect.
the same way.
Yeah, it shouldn't be
Yeah.
having any kind of effect because she plays bass or guitar or whatever the case may be. It's just because that's what she does, and that's where it should stop. You know.
Yeah.
So as we wind down here, we're getting to the tail end of the podcast. It's been a great discussion, by the way. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity. You got me and Will here. You know, we're adults, of course. Do you guys have any questions that you would like to ask us as adults that maybe is something you've thought of that's like, well, why do you guys do this, or why do you guys think of this, or why do adults think this, or this is an opportunity for you to do so. Yeah, and I mean, technically, you could technically ask your mom because she is in the studio, but she's not mic'd up. So, do you guys have any questions? What about you, Elizabeth? Do you, maybe a question that you'd like to ask, just in general, of adults?
I don't really have any because, like, if I have a question, I go to my mom because we have a very good relationship.
That's
like,
good.
Vanessa and Amaya with her mom, like,
Right.
we're very open. I can tell her every detail of my life.
Awesome. How about you, ladies?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, cool. And now that everybody knows, because you said it on Instagram, y'all don't got anything I want to ask you, Uncle?
Oh yeah, by the way, he's our uncle.
We want to put Uncle Will on the spot and ask him a question.
Dang, throwing me down like that. No, I don't need to ask him a question. I can just call him and be like, hey, yo, man.
Awesome.
Can you kick somebody's butt for me?
Oh, yeah. Well, he's definitely like...
Shoot me the address.
Hey, when you were telling the story about the guys catcalling you, he was already getting
Yeah, no, he's like the father that will always be there for us, you know? Like, he's known us since babies.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Obviously, he's our uncle.
Yeah, but like...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the uncle, relationship.
He's our closest uncle. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
go to him for anything.
Yeah. Oh, and I know he loves you guys like crazy, too.
He better. We're doing this for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, hey, guys, this has been a great discussion. And this is exactly why I like this, or I love this platform, this podcast that we do, because we start off talking about one subject or one topic and we go into something else, and I love it when it happens that way, because that's how conversations happen. You talk about one thing and next thing you know, you're talking about something else, and I believe everything that we talked about here today is very relevant, and I think you guys are you've already reached a lot of people with the last podcast. You're just gonna do more of that.
Yeah,
with this
I just
one.
want to thank everybody too. Like, thank you for giving such great advice and like feedback and questions. Like, that
Thanks
really
for
just
listening.
Yeah, and make sure you share with your friends. Hello, Maya and Vanessa, Big Will and Rob T2, whatever. But obviously anyways, yeah, thank you for all the positive feedback.
At least she showed us a little love, right? Hey, listen though, I do want to challenge all of you guys that are listening, all of you friends of the girls and stuff, all you kids out there, do me a favor, share this podcast with people that you know. Tell your friends, tell your friends' friends. Just get it out there to as many people as you can. We are wanting in the future to have more content that is going to be important to you. But in order to do that, we got to get you to do your part and tell others about this podcast. And also give us feedback. Go to our social media pages. Comment on our social media pages. Let us know what you want to hear on this show. What do you want us to talk about? What are some issues that you guys want us to bring up that you would like us to get answers on? You know what I mean? I really am glad that we're having these next few weeks with you guys, because this is actually opening up a whole different demographic for us, and it's something that we want to expand on. So thank you guys for doing that. And thank you guys so much for being here today. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And so listen, if you go and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, or if you go on Google Podcasts, give us that 5-star or 4-star rating, whatever the highest one is. Go in there, give us that rating, leave us a comment, and share it with people that you know. We're on iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher, we're on Castbox, we're also on YouTube. Okay, you can find us on YouTube as well. There isn't a place right now where you can't find us. You just got to search What's on My Mind podcast, and you will find us. Now, having said that, I want to I'm not going to give the full announcement, but I just want you guys to be aware that here, very near in the future, we may have some merch available for you guys. We're working on some stuff right now, and I'm really excited about it. We just need to dot a few I's and cross a few T's, and if we can get this thing done, you guys might start seeing some merch that you can actually purchase and start repping the What's on My Mind podcast and letting other people know that we're here.
That's right.
And we're doing this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Here.
Yeah. So, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Will, am I missing anything? Am I forgetting anything?
No, you're good.
I think we good. We're good.
We're
Awesome.
good.
Cool. So, guys, y'all stay safe out there. Don't sneeze on anybody or cough on anybody. What?
Or lick anybody.
Keep your tongues out of other tongues.
Okay, I wasn't going there, but hey, y'all take care of yourselves, ladies. Thank you again so much for being on the show, and I guess we'll see you guys again next week, and we'll come back and talk some more stuff. All right, guys, this is Rob T.
It's Big Will.
And you've been listening to
What's on my mind?